Hello everyone. Good morning to all of you. Welcome to Unacademy. Dear students, last time we were discussing about fundamental rights. This is a revision course especially for OCS examination. It's a civil service exam, preliminary exam, as it is in the near future. For that purpose, I have launched this course in the YouTube session to discuss about the Indian Constitution and polity, which is considered to be one of the important subjects in case of your civil service syllabus. So that is why last time we discussed about fundamental rights in our last sessions. And today's topic of discussion is DPSPs, Directive Principles of the State Policies. We'll discuss about it. In this way, I will entirely cover the syllabus for Indian Polity and Constitution in Unacademy Plus. Subscribe to Unacademy Plus. Use the referral code EGOS so that you'll be getting 10% discount upon your subscription amount. So let's discuss about DPSP. It is there in the part 4. In the part 3, we discussed about fundamental rights. Fundamental rights which are justiciable in nature. It means in case of violation of the fundamental rights, you can directly approach to the court. It means Supreme Court or High Court you can directly approach. By using Article 32, you can approach Supreme Court, and by using Article 226, you can approach the High Court. In the same way, in the part 4, directive principle of the state policies, they have been mentioned here, and it covers articles from Article 36 to Article it covers articles from Article 36 to Article 51. Now, what is the basic objective of the directive principles? These are the directions. Direction to whom? The directions are to the states. What for? States are there for the formulation of the laws, implementation of the laws. So DPSPs are considered to be the fundamental instruments which are directing the state. What for? They are directing the state for formulation of different type of laws, or basically they are the recommendation to the states. That is why they are called the conscience of the constitution. They are called the conscience of the constitution, as well as they are also called the sister of the part 3. It means it is called sister of the fundamental rights. So in India, we have taken DPSP from the Constitution of Ireland. Ireland Constitution and the DPSP ko, and further Ireland Spanish Constitution. Then there are in India, the DPSP, it is a blend of many type of concepts. The first is the socialistic concepts are there, then liberal concepts are there, democratic concepts are there, Gandhian principles are there. Different principles are involved in the directive principles. So one important fact you need to remember about the DPSP is they are non-justiciable in nature. It means when they are not, if the government doesn't obey the rules instructions followed by the DPSPs, then you cannot file a case in the Supreme Court or High Court. The government is not binding to the different provisions of the DPSP. Unlike your fundamental rights are like you can directly approach the court, but in DPSP you cannot approach the court. So आमे देखिबा गोटे गोटे प्रोविजन बर्तमान DPSP रो किछ इंपोर्टेंट प्रोविजन देखिबा. Article 36. Article 36 is all about the definition of the state. So, part 3 start करथिले. In the very starting of the part 3, we discussed Article 12. Article 12 रे I discussed about the meaning and definition of the state. What does the state signify, or what it includes and what it doesn't include. All those things I have discussed. In the same way, Article 36 also defines the state. And according to Article 36, the meaning of state, it remains constant. The meaning of state, it remains constant. It's like your Article 12 of the Indian Constitution. Fundamental right रे जेमते हम स्टेट रो डेफिनेशन जहा पढिथिले, इन द सेम वे आर्टिकल 36 रे मध्य स्टेट रो डेफिनेशन को हमें से देखुछन्ते बोली आर्टिकल 36 एठी डिक्लेयर करूछि. Then is Article 37. Application of the principles contained in this part. The provisions contained in this part shall not be enforced by any court, but the principles therein laid down are nevertheless fundamental in the governance of the country, and it shall be the primary responsibility and duty of the state to apply these principles in making the laws. It means different provisions of the DPSPs, they are not enforceable in the court of law. Doesn't mean that they don't have any significance upon the governance of the country. Rather, though they are not enforceable in the court, still they are considered to be the fundamental instruments in providing the governance. Fundamental instruments in providing the governance of the country. Because it is the primary responsibility, it is the primary duty of the state to implement these rules, regulations, and the instructions provided by the DPSPs. So the basic objective of the government is always to provide a welfare state. The basic objective is always to provide a welfare state. So welfare state meaning kono? It means maximum happiness to the maximum people. It means maximum happiness to the maximum people, or to provide the good governance. So good governance provide kemti kara jai paribo, because the state is responsible for formulation of different policies and schemes for the citizens. There are different sections of the society. There are farmers, there are industrialists, there are laborers. So for the different class, different section of the society, the government should form different type of laws. Let's say for the BPL category, the objective of the government should be completely different. You can talk about the Indira Awas Yojana. You can talk about the Kaliya Yojana, which has been recently launched by the government of Odisha. What does that signify, or what is the basic objective of these schemes or policies? Their objective is always a particular section of the society, or the disadvantageous section of the society, जो मानकर development ही पारु नहीं, बा जो माने underdeveloped, एमानकर केमते डेवलपमेंट हे परिबो सब बळे गवर्नमेंट रो बेसिक ऑब्जेक्टिव ही एटा थाए. तो ये कारणरू आर्टिकल 37 कोची की एप्लीकेशन ए जो प्रिंसिपल हम डिस्कस करबा डीपीएसपी रे, ये सब प्रिंसिपल मानकर एप्लीकेशन डेफिनेटली फंडामेंटल इन प्रोवाइडिंग गवर्नेंस टू द कंट्री, दो दे आर नॉट justiciable in nature. Then is Article 38, the state secure a social order for the promotion of the welfare of the people. It means it is Article 38. The first is the state shall strive to promote the welfare of the people by securing and protecting as effectively as it may a social order in which justice, co-type of justice. The Indian Constitution always discusses about three types of justice: social justice, economic justice, and political justice. And it is the primary objective of the state to always ensure social, economic, as well as political justice to its citizens. The next is the second clause of the Article 38. It discusses about the state shall in particular strive to minimize the inequalities in the income. See, the term inequality you have to remember, and this term will be used many times in your mains answer writing. In economics, you can use this term inequality. In politics, or in while talking about the Indian political system, while talking about the Indian society, you should use these terms very frequently in your answer sheet, because inequality is a threat. Always it is a threat to the democracy, and this is the primary responsibility of the state to minimize the inequality. In which sense you have to minimize the inequality? In terms of income. In terms of income, because inequality, disparity, all these are a threat, always a threat to the democratic form of the government. So that is why we need to minimize the inequality. I think you might have heard about the term Gini coefficient in your economic syllabus. Gini coefficient, जो हमें top 20% rich person divided by ratio बाहर करते top 20% to bottom 20%. So more the Gini coefficient, you will have more the inequality. कि maximum concentration, maximum of the wealth that will be concentrated to minimum number of people, and minimum of the wealth that will be concentrated with maximum of the people. India जदि हम देखिबा, then 80% resource India रो मात्र 20% citizen मानक पाखर अछि, whereas 20% resource of India that is being distributed among 80% of the population. So it creates a inequality, and that inequality that should be minimized to ensure democratic form of government. But democracy को जदि हमें डेवलप करिया पई चाहउचंती, यदि डेमोक्रेसी रो डेवलप्ड फॉर्म, मॉडर्नाइज्ड फॉर्म को हम यूटिलाइज करिया पई चाहउचंती, इफ यू वांट द रियल सिंथेसिस ऑफ द डेमोक्रेसी, द रियल जिस्ट ऑफ डेमोक्रेसी, देन वी हैव टू अडॉप्ट अ वेलफेयर स्टेट. एंड वेलफेयर स्टेट केते बळ हे परिबो जेता हम इकोनॉमिक इनइक्वालिटी को रिड्यूस करि परिबा. सो रिमेंबर always they ask a question related to inequalities. Ki inequalities has been discussed in which of the following segments of the Indian Constitution. ये question है सेट देबे part 3, part 4, part 4a, part 6 एमती देथिबे. So you have to always pick the correct answer as the directive principles. The next is Article 39 of the Indian Constitution. Certain principles of policy to be followed by the state. The state shall in particular direct its policies towards securing that the citizen, men and women equally have the right to an adequate means of livelihood. See, this first section of the Article 39A, or the first provision of Article 39, that is Article 39A, it is the most important provision throughout the Indian Constitution. Remember, it discusses about the citizen, men and women equally. They should be treated equally because they both have the equal rights. There should be no discrimination on the basis of gender. Plus, it is also discusses about another point, that is providing adequate means of livelihood. Adequate means of livelihood for whom? Both for men as well as for women. Article 39 clause B, that the ownership of the control of the material resource of the community are so distributed as best to subserve the common good. So ये कुछ की community resource that should be distributed. जो Gini coefficient रा कथा मु कहली 80% of the resource belongs to 20% of the people and 20% of the resource belong to 80% of the people. It should not happen. But Gini coefficient कम होगा दरकार, inequality, income inequality कम होगा दरकार, by equality रहगा दरकार. So distribution of the wealth, that is need of the hour. India, China, developing country manakare income ro distribution inequality हमको देखिवा को मिले. The next is the operation of the economic system doesn't result in the concentration of the wealth. Concentration of the wealth, because concentration of the wealth means what? If the government will only focus upon the Ambani, Adani and all those capitalists, then the social sector that will be completely neglected by the government. So while the government puts emphasis upon the industry sector, simultaneously it should focus upon the social sector. It means dita type ro katha upare हमके discuss करिया पई पड़िबो. गोटेला customer आ गोटेला citizen. Citizen किए जो मानकर purchase करिवार capacity न थाए private sector. Customer किए those who have the purchasing power capacity from the private sector. जो माने private sector purchase करि परिबे हमें ताको customer बोली कहउछंती. Let's say कि जनकर देह खराब हेछि and for that purpose healthcare facilities दरकार. जणे SCB medical जाउची पाखरे पैसा नहीं, so से समर से citizen जणे Apollo जाय कि medical service afford करि परछि, then at that point of time the person is a customer. So you have to distinguish between the customer and the citizen, and it is the primary responsibility of the state to take care of the citizens first, then the customers. प्रथम कथा. द्वितीय कथा, it should not result in the concentration of the wealth concentration माने किछि कैपिटलिस्ट मानक पाखरे जो इंडिया रे इकोनॉमिक सिस्टम चलीछि बा गोटे कंट्री इकोनॉमिक सिस्टम चलीछि, ये सिस्टम एमिति न होबा दरकार जोथरे किछि कैपिटलिस्ट मानक पाखरे ही केवल wealth concentration हेकि रहथिबो. Then article 39 clause D, that there is equal pay for the equal work for both men and women. Basically the difference between men and women in the field of work or in the field of their job, you can see this inequality only in the informal sector, not in the formal sector. Those who are working in the government sector, the payment structure will be same for the male as well as female. For the male as well as for female, it will be same. In case of private sectors, it will also be same. But the thing is that in informal sector where there is no record, there is no registration, in those cases, women they get less salary as compared to the men. So article 39D, it prohibits inequality in the work between men and women. This is all about article 39 clause D. Then article 39 clause E, the health and the strength of the workers, both men and women, and the tender age of children are not abused, and that citizens are not forced by economic necessity to enter avocations unsuited to their age or strength. You could see section of the society, those who are unempowered, those who have less knowledge about their legal rights, about their fundamental rights. So this should not be abused, including the children, including the men and women. This should not be abused in this case. Then article 39 clause F, that the children are given opportunities and facilities to develop in a healthy manner and in conditions of the freedom and dignity, and that childhood and youth are protected against the exploitation. 39 clause F, it protects exploitation in any form, from whom now to the children, to the youth, and to the childhood, all those things that they should be completely protected from exploitation by any section of the society. This is all about article 39. The most important article is article 39 clause A, equal justice and free legal aid. Equal justice and free legal aid. The state shall secure that the operation of the legal system promotes justice on a basis of equal opportunity, and shall in particular provide free legal aid by suitable legislation or schemes or in other way to ensure that opportunities for securing justice are not denied to any citizen. Securing justice means, let's say there is a poor person who is not able to afford the consultancy of an advocate. At that point of time, this will be the responsibility of the government to provide justice to that person, बा justice provide करिवा पई जो instrument दरकार जेम जनको advocate र आवश्यकता अछि, the advocate will be provided by the government. So equal justice and free legal aid, these are the basic components of a democratic society. The next is article 40 of the Indian Constitution. It discusses about the organization of village panchayat. The state shall take steps to organize village panchayat and endow them with such powers and authority as may be necessary to enable them to function as units of the self government. So panchayat village panchayat को establish करिवार मुख्य कारण होची self government. Self government कहले हमें कोन बुझंती बा एठी हमें कहि परिबा कि we can also talk about the decentralization of the government or decentralization of the power. Concentration of the power that will lead to corruption. So power corrupts and absolute power corrupts very absolutely. So for that purpose, we have to avoid concentration of the power. If all the powers of the government, it means legislation, executive, and judicial functions will be given to a single body, then definitely there will be corruption. The Purpur Hutla king was the law, and whatever the king wants, the king will formulate the same type of laws. It will implement the same type of laws. Then adjudication provide career the king nijo hisab re adjudication provide karibe. So, but now what happened? King is not the law, rather law is the king. So concentration of the power को avoid करिवा पाई plus self government but decentralization of the power करिवा पाई we have the village panchayats and village panchayat ର basic objective सबले कोन ना democracy development at the root level और basic level ले root level ले केमते democracy को हमें utilize करि परिबा केमते development को हमें utilize करि परिबा केमते हमें self government through रे आपको develop करि परिबा ये सब ऊपर ये discuss करे. So village panchayat is this is the basic principle basic or the root level of the development by ये प्रथम पाहाच हमें कहि परिबा पंचायत डेवलप हेले गां डेवलप हेले ही धीरे धीरे गोटे कंट्री डेवलप हे परिबा. So this is about article 40, then article 41. Then article 41 it is all about the right to work, to education and to public assistance in certain cases. The state shall, within the limits of its economic capacity and development, make effective provision for securing the rights to work, to education and to public assistance in case of unemployment, old age, sickness and disablement, and in other cases of undeserved want. So, a किछि particular case रे it should ensure right to work. The cases are unemployment होई पारे, old age होई पारे, sickness होई पारे, disablement होई पारे. ये सब जगह रे right to work should be provided. Right to work should be provided by unnecessarily those who are disadvantaged section of the society. They should not be abused. They should not be exploited. So, it is first class देखो it has been written कि within the limits of its economic capacity. Within the limits of its economic capacity. It means प्रत्येक country economic capacity same नुहे or the financial resource that we have that is not same. But it is not enormous. हम पाखे plenty amount of economic resource नहीं, financial resource नहीं कि government of India can utilize it everywhere. तो आपको यूटिलाइज करिवा हम पई कष्ट आइ जो तो यूटिलाइज करिया पई एको जदी इकोनॉमिक कैपेसिटी अछि बा जेति कि अछि विदिन द लिमिट्स ऑफ इकोनॉमिक कैपेसिटी द गवर्नमेंट शुड टेक डिफरेंट स्टेप्स. तो बियॉन्ड द इकोनॉमिक कैपेसिटी ऑफ बियॉन्ड देन द गवर्नमेंट हैज टू avail some loans from either internal sources or from external sources. Then fiscal deficit, whatever loan amount, whatever interest rate, whatever, that will be fiscal burden upon the government. Rather fiscal burden को कम करिया पई हमें within the limits of the economic capacity we have to or the government have to provide the different developmental aspects to the citizens. So this is all about article 41. So DPSP next of the provision again at 10:30 I have a session here and I will discuss about rest of the provisions of the directive principle of the state policy. So से पर्यंत पढ़ंते भल भाबरे बुझंते भल भाबरे पाठ को prepare better for your examination and subscribe to Unacademy Plus. Use the referral code EGOS to get 10% discount upon your subscription amount. ये referral code को use करंतु without any space कौन सी space न दे alphabet मान को भीतर EGOS use करंतु. Description box रे complete explanation दिया जाइछि. You can download the Unacademy app and it will be completely free of cost. You can attend the special classes again, these are also free of cost. And rest of the syllabus, Indian polity, constitution, Indian geography, internal security for mains. I have completed these subjects in Unacademy Plus. You can subscribe to Unacademy Plus. Use the referral code EGOS to get 10% discount upon your subscription amount. Recently, we have launched 2 batches. One for OPSC civil service examination, WES exam pay, and another batch is there for assistant section officer exam. ये course माना को पई batch recently launched is सारी Unacademy. You can enroll yourself to those batches to crack the exam. So thank you everyone. Have a good day. That's all for today. See you in the next session at 10:30 a.m. tomorrow.